What the fuck's going on? We're gonna go over today's price action and Pennyland Mania. Today's September 3rd. We're gonna start top down, then we're gonna get into pattern recognition afterwards. So first we're gonna start with, well, before we start with the actual tickers, we're going to recite what we learned from the weekend. What we learned from the weekend from pre-market training are stocks fading into open tend to be bearish. Stocks that are under $1 tend to be bearish. The optimal price range is from $1 to $3. Anything over $3 is a little bit more bearish than it was before. And so with that being said, we're going to kind of use that to gauge if things have changed or if they stayed consistent. So the first one we're going to start with is APTO. APTO was flat and then started fading into open under $1. This was in the bag. Easy money. We knew this from the start. ASST was a previous runner. This one ran, let's see, 3 days ago. It ran 5 days ago. Then it was flat. Then it ran again. Faded all the way back down. This one was kind of late to the radar. This one actually had a nice little flag here. I didn't actually pull this up until it was about here. I was done trading around here. So this was actually a nice little double bottom flag, and I did it again over here. Nice little setups there. The volume wasn't crazy, but it was still enough to have some decent trades. Wish I had stayed a little bit, but that was pretty nice. Also broke the 200, then failed back through. AUUD. This one is a piece of shit. I'm pretty sure this one has never sustained any momentum at all. I think, what, a week or so ago it did the same thing. This thing looked pretty good actually going into open. It was below $1, so the fear was this could be a halt stock. But we were up in the 140s. It's a good price range. We're flat. This thing pulled the classic open bell up down pattern that we saw last week a lot of. Once it did this, we were basically out. Never really looked back. I mean, if it held here and pushed back, maybe, you know, new week. But once it did this, that's confirmed out. Both of these nuts returned again, which is crazy. Let's see where it did. See, this seemed like forever ago. This ran August 28th, came down, held. We should have had this one more on the radar. That's something that I would love to improve at, is looking more at the multi-day ones. I did have this up, but I just never really cared. I thought for sure this would push up to this key level and then just fumble over, and it never did. It held this key level here and then proceeded to ride the 1.9 EMA to Valhalla. And I almost got into a trade, I think, here, but the risk level just seemed a little bit too much. You know, I thought there'd be a bigger pullback, maybe in a 267, and it just never really pulled back. It was just 1 minute flags all the way up. I ended up trading it. Let's see. I took this dip right here off of this 1 year highs. It broke 1 year highs and ended up fading through. So only a little scalp on that, but this was really nice to see. Again, 1030 is pretty much where we're seeing high days, so that's also why we kind of got out. CDT. This one, not really enough volume to even care about, but it's just something to look at. Fading below $1, we don't give a shit. CNFR was the one weird ass price action. This type of pre-market we haven't really seen in a while. We thought about taking it here, but this thing was literally, the spread was, I'm pretty sure it was like 5-6 cents. I mean, the spread was 5 to 10%, you know, and then on top of that, this thing is just wild. But that was a nice little trade if anyone got it. And then nice little dips here. I think I took some up here, but never really broke out. and then kind of faded, and then just grinded the rest of the day. Elab was another. This thing has ran before. It ran here, did nothing. If it gets over this point, might keep this up, but it did fade. Did this midday push that didn't do anything, so that's kind of weak to me. MSGM bitch slapped me today. I thought for sure, usually when you have this fade and then we break a VWAP, there's some momentum that we learned from last week. I took it on this dip, and I retook it up here, and I just got kill candled through. Which kind of sucks, but oh well, shit happens. And then just died. This weird ass ticker name, PSNYW. Had a nice break of VWAP. This is kind of what I wanted on the other stock, kind of a dip and then go. Not really gonna look at this one too much. This was kind of a weird stock, but nice little dip. Siffy. Siffy was a top penny runner. A big push here and then kind of flat. This thing I thought could have potential, but again, under $1 stocks just suck these days. They're just not it. I actually took it here on this VWAP hold, and then it just collapsed. A lot of good potential dips, but then they just roll over. VSIG, penny stock, fader into open. Verb, same thing, like no volume. Vox was a multi-day runner that was just not enough volume there for me to take. And then Vuzi, last one. This one got a nice push, and I actually took it on this dip to the pre-market high. And again, another just fade through. So kind of got to take our scalps as they come. I think BOF was basically the main runner of the day, but he kind of got in earlier. Today had momentum, but as far as an amazing day, this was like it. This looks good, but you know, compared to the other price action, this is totally different. So a little tough in the streets for sure. But now we're gonna look over. We're gonna look over the specific pattern recognition here. Let me switch this over. Present review. Oh, okay, that did not work. Let me do that again. Let me get the pen. Let me go. All right, let's look at the bullish ones. VWAP reclaim. This is the one that we got bagged on, but anything that breaks VWAP later in the day tends to be bullish. Example on CNFR as well. Key level hold. We only saw kind of a couple of these, but this is a nice, just remember to add near key levels if we break them. EMA wave, we saw less of this last week, but this is a nice example. Maybe we'll get a couple more this week. Inside 5 flags, we have the 5-minute flag. This couple of these are kind of like cup and handles, but to me, this is just kind of a specific flag type. It breaks, it pushes. This one was not fully all the way. I mean, I guess you could say. But this dip right here is the money. Money. And then you get a nice push. Double bottom flag, just easy to spot out. This one was clean on ASST. Push up, down, flat, little push here, down. I did 2 of them at the same time actually. Up, down, double bottom. When we look at the bearish, one thing to note is that yearly highs have been resistance points. So, you know, right here, just something to take note of. We saw that in CNFR as well. Here. VWAP breakdown. This is kind of the reverse. If we see something above VWAP and pushing down through with heavy volume, like this, right there, time to kind of back out a little bit. Here we have this as well, where it just kind of fades through. Just so down here. Open bell high day fade. This is a classic one from last week. It could be basically in the first 5 minutes where it pushes and then fades back through. There could be some flags, but you know, odd was a perfect example of this. Key level break against like the view up break. If we're breaking back through a key resistance point, like here was low fake out. But if we're breaking back through with volume and it's really pushing, just kind of stay away. And then we saw some double tops. This one was not a true double top because it didn't kind of form up, but to me it looks like one. Another example where it dips and tries to break and it doesn't. But I think, let me exit this, discard. That shall be it for today. Bye-bye.